Hi, this is Savia Miyenga right here. Welcome back to my channel. And today's topic we are going to discuss about while waiting, like what are we supposed to do when we prayed for something and we are hoping that God answers right away. Like what are we supposed to do when we think that God is actually not answering, or if we are waiting, what are we supposed to do? That period of waiting. I believe ladies are they don't like waiting. Definitely me too. I don't like waiting. Like if I like things to be done on time, but it's different with God. God's time is not our time. His ways are not actually ours. So in that process of waiting, what are we supposed to do? I got a revelation of it, like has when you are waiting is like an occupation, right? We find waiters, like waiters, as they are waiting, what they do is they carry trays, to save other people, right? They are waiters. It's an occupation. So while you are waiting, I think we should be more like waiters. You save people, you trust God, you continue praying, you continue hoping, you continue reminding God, like, God, I prayed for this, I did for this. A good example what I went through was this is this was something else. I applied for a job. When I applied for a job, and then I couldn't wait, so I called the HR and I was like, "Hi, Mister, how are you?" He said, "I'm fine." I'm like, "Yeah." So I applied. So when are you calling us the short? When are you shortlisting people out? And then he said, "No, there are more than 200 people. So actually, we are gonna take time. By end of this month, that was last month. By end of this month, then we are going to release the shortlisting. We are going to call upon people that qualified." And I was like, now how I was like, no, God, I prayed for this, I want this job. And then month end came, and then the, they didn't call me. So I was like, no, man, I qualified the requirements that were there, I met them. Then I was like, no, man, this is my job, I need to have this job. And then I was calling, and then I had it deep down my voice. I said, no, don't call, because you're not trusting me right now. So do not call. And I kept on calling. But when I called, it wasn't going through. And it was month end, and they didn't call me. So I was so upset. So I went I went to church. I went on the altar. I was crying, literally crying, like, God, you know what I'm gonna do with this job? I am so upset right now. What are you supposed to do? What am I supposed to do now? What is next in my life? You know, and I was crying and like, no, God, you're unfair and everything like that, because they haven't called me. And I was like, okay, no, I give up and everything. But then the funny part is, when I went back to call, the man is saying, no, we are not done calling. I was like, yo, God, so why didn't you tell me that they haven't called yet? So I have to go back again and like, oh God, please forgive me, because I thought they really didn't call me. I thought I didn't qualify while I prayed for it. And another example, what I got into myself was like, ooh, the heartache that I went through, how broken I was at this time last year. I was heartbroken, like literally. I was like, what just happened to me? How am I going to go out of this heartbreak? I was so heartbroken. But I was praying, God, today I'm going to sleep. By the time I wake up next tomorrow, please let this heartbreak go. But God didn't do that. I was focusing on the problem of the heartbreak, like, no, I cannot go through this, why me, and stuff like that. But there's a song that is always saying that break break my heart where your heart breaks, Lord. So I think this was the time God break me where his heart was breaking, because he wanted me to go into the right way, because I was going the wrong way. So his as I was in that state whereby I have to wait for God to mend my heart, for him to fix my heart that was broken, because he said he's always close to the brokenhearted. As I was waiting, what I did was pray and cry out to God. I had to give everything to him. I gave everything to him, like, God, I cannot, this heartbreak is too much for me. You need to fix it for me, you see. So I had to wait for a period of I can't even say how long I waited, but I waited for him to fix me. You know, one of the things that I learned is God began to prepare me, you know, because sometimes we are praying for something, but are we ready to receive it? Are we ready? You know, because God, you pray, oh God, give me this job. But if you don't have patience, there's no way he's going to give you that job. He have to prepare you for that job. He have to prepare you on how you're supposed to deal with your manager. He have to prepare you if you applied for a supervisor. He have to prepare you on how you're going to deal with other people. Because God is not going to give you something that just say, like, boom, take my child, and you don't know how to be patient. You don't have self-control. You don't have the fruit of the spirit. Then that is not going to work, you know. Many times we are praying for something, like many of us ladies, we are there praying, oh God, give me a husband. But are you ready to have a husband? You know, having a husband, they say you have to submit to him, but are you submissive to God? Are you submissive to Jesus? Because God is going to give his son, because he loves all of us. He loves you. He's gonna love also your husband. It's the same love that he has for all of us, but he's not gonna give you your husband whereby you don't know how to submissive to him. You don't even obey what God say. It's the same thing. A man, you are praying for a wife to marry. Is God gonna give you his daughter while you are not ready? You don't know how to love, because they say, husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church. Are you able to love? Are you loving Jesus? Do you know Jesus for God to give you something? So while you are waiting, it's actually a correct thing to do, whereby you have to wait on God, you know. Another example that got me in touch was like Esau. Esau sold his birthright to Jacob just because he couldn't wait. He was so tired. He was weary. He said, give me something. And then Jacob said, you know, if I have to give you food, you have to give me your birthright. And just there, he gave his birthright, which is not right. You're supposed to wait. He's supposed to wait. I'm sure if he's supposed to wait, then he could be in a better place. But he couldn't wait. And then he just decided to give, you know, to give his birthright. So in the process of waiting, in the period of waiting, God does wonders. He will do wonders for you. He will work on you. He will change you. He will shape you. He will make sure that you have to move from level one to another. He will prepare you, you know. He will prepare you. Joseph, I mean, the son of Jacob, he was sold. He used to be a great leader, a great dreamer. He was dreaming of his greatness, no, and so he believed in it, that no, you know what, God is gonna do this for me. But for him to reach where he was, God had to prepare him. You know, he had to prepare him for him to be the governor that he was. In that process, one of it was like he was sold by his brothers. So he was a slave. He was a slave in Egypt. He was also in jail, but in jail he was doing something there. He interpreted dreams. He interpreted dreams of also people that he found in the prisoner. So in that process, God was preparing him on how he's supposed to deal in the position that he's supposed to be given. At the end, he was the governor. You see, at the end, he was the governor. And at the end, he prepared food for the brothers, because he left the brothers behind. But then he went to Egypt because there was drought. God sent drought there. So he prepared. God was preparing him he was even giving wisdom, you know, to the king and stuff like that. So when you are in the process of waiting, don't just give up, because God is gonna deal with you. God is going to deal with you nicely. He's gonna mend you, he's gonna shape you, he's gonna build you for the purpose of his life. One thing that we do is we just pray for things that we want. We should understand that God will not give things that we want. He always gives things that we need, you need for your purpose. You cannot pray for God, give me this job, and then you are given this job, and this job from Monday to Sunday you're just working, you don't have time for him. No, God have chosen you, so he have to give you a job that will also make sure that you have actually time for him. He needs you. He wants to communicate with you. He wants you to step in your calling. He wants you to step in what what you are created for. So God is not going to give you something that you want just because you want it, and then voila, let me just give my child because it's great. No, he's going to give you what you need. It does not matter how you are going to cry for it. He's going to wait until you are ready to receive it. For in that process, he's going to prepare you. He prepared me a lot. He prepared me a lot. I became prayerful. I became to set out things like having books. I have different type of books. I have different type of books where different type of books that I made up that I didn't have then, because I didn't have then when I was not doing what God's supposed to be. But this is the process God have put me through. Like, no, this heartbreak that you went through, not just a heartbreak, but it's for me to heal you completely. You have to go step by step on what I'm teaching you. He was teaching me. He taught me how to trust. He taught me how to pray, how to hope. One of the things that I lack right now, the reason why I'm still waiting for that job to call me, because God is busy. God is busy preparing me on how to be patient, because I'm a person that I'm impatient, So God is teaching me how to be patient, so that maybe the boss that I am going to have is somebody that I really need patience for. I have to wait on that person to do the thing on his right, because God said God doesn't delay. He said in Isaiah 60:22, he said, he said, at the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. So it does not matter when you're going to feel weary and just worried. Should I give up? Should I do what? God is going to do it on his right time. But during that time, what are you supposed to do while you are waiting? Should you just sleep and be like, yeah, God, since it's you that is going to do all these things, then just do it? No, you're supposed to do your part, and then he will do your part. So one of the things that I did when God was preparing me for my calling, when God was preparing me to step in, when God really said, enough is enough, my child. I didn't call you for this. I didn't create you to do this. I was one of a person that really, I didn't think I would be this type of a person. I loved people though, yes, but then not in the way that God wanted me to love people. I could hate people. I hated this one particular friend I had. He was a good friend though. He was a good friend, but I kept on hating. Not that I did it deliberately, because I had something, that I was going through that the person didn't know all about. And I ended up hating the person. So it wasn't actually a good thing. So God saw that and he said, no, my child, I don't want you. You are good. You are good enough. It's not for you. I didn't create you to be like this, because you are my daughter. You are a wonderful daughter, because I am a good person, right? I am a good person. So God said, no, this way you are taking, it was a wrong road. I know for sure I took a wrong road, so it wasn't good. So God now decided to prepare for me. So what I did was like pray. I prayed a lot. I even had a plan of how to pray, how many times to pray. I prayed. I served God, while I was waiting. I served God. Serving God, I saved other people. I saw other people that were broken. I just started encouraging them. So that was one of the things God was preparing me for. Like, no, this is not for you. You're supposed not to do this. You're supposed to do this, my child. And I started encouraging these people. And these people will be like, yo, when you talk, it's like, God is talking through me. But that is what God wanted, not for me to be ignorant of castings. God wanted me to do his will. And one of the things that I did was um I started writing. I started writing my feelings. I started writing what I felt. I started writing things because I was always this type of a person that writes, though. I could find myself anywhere writing, but I didn't know that was one of my gifts. But through that process of that heartbreak I had, God showed me that, my child, you are a writer. You have to write, and you have to write about me. You have to write books that encourage other people. You have to write, you have to come say things that people you have to motivate people that are hopeless, that are helpless, those ones that are heartbroken. That's what God wanted me to do. That is during my waiting, while I was waiting for him to help me complete it. He was teaching me something of like how to love, how to be patient, how to have the fruit of the spirit. So without me going through that heartbreak, I don't think I could have known I supposed to do such things. But God wanted me to realize that this is what I created for. What I did is I got different type of books, yeah, where I write what happens in my life. I talk to God in the book. I write, dear God. This is the book that I write about God. Anything that I feel into my heart. I have a book whereby we have Bible study. We study together. This one. So I started reading really the Bible so deep, understanding who God is. And what I did also, so I let go and let God take over. I asked God to show me my purpose. Like, what purpose? What do you want me to do for you? Because everybody have a purpose that you need to fulfill. So you can't just stay relaxed and think that God is going to do everything, and you're supposed to do something that God created for. So you have to ask him, God, show me what am I supposed to do? How do I'm supposed to save you? He said in Psalm 145, 19 to 25, God said, he will prepare. He said we should trust God. If we are going to read in Psalm 145, until the time, verse 19, until the time that his word came to pass. The word of the Lord tested him. They're talking about Joseph. Here they're talking about Joseph. Like, Joseph had to be tested. He went through a test. He was tested until the testing was over. Then God made him a ruler. So during your waiting, God is going to test you. He's gonna test you while you're praying. You pray, God, I want this. God, I want you to heal me. He's gonna test you. You have to trust him, because all that is part of the testing. But everything is gonna pass. It's going to come to pass. So for you, you just set yourself in a position and trust him and hope in him and pray and remind him, and then all that God wants to prepare for you for the thing that you're supposed to get, then he's gonna do it for you. One of the things that God told me with was unforgiveness. I had so much bitterness towards people, unforgiveness. I had so much, but God started to deal with me that if you love me, you obey me, and if you love God, definitely you have to obey. And one of the things you need to obey, he said you should forgive. And I was battling with that. No, how can I forgive somebody that hurt me? How can I forgive people that say so much bad things about me? But God said, no, revenge is not for you. it's for me. So you just have to let go. So I had to let go. I had to learn how to forgive. I have to learn to love the same people that hate me. I have to learn to love a person that really hurt me so deep. I have to love that person because that's what God wants. He said, love your enemies. The person wasn't my enemy, but I had to just love because I had too much bitterness towards this person. So God said, no, this you have to. So this was one of the things that God dealt with me, like unforgiveness, bitterness. He dealt with before I could be healed completely, before my heart was mended back, before my heart could love again. God dealt with such things, bitterness, unforgiveness. I had so much hate in me. He have to deal with me, self-control. All this time I have to wait for God to do this for me, so if you are in a waiting process, so you just have to trust him, you just have to wait upon him. Get a hobby to do, get books, start talking to him, write books if you can, get a prayer journal for yourself. Pray. I started praying for people also. He say, I think the easiest thing when someone hates you, you should pray for those people, even though you don't want to hear their name. I didn't want to mention people's name, those ones that hate me, but I had to. I was praying, God, for I bless this person that did this and this to me, and it helped. At the end, I find myself loving these people that hate me, loving these the same people that hate me. You just have to do that. This is all for today. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends and people. I hope this video have blessed you. I love you guys. Bye.